this person and what we just saw in terms of a presentation at the United Nations. I talk about it. I talked about, remember in the debate?
Yeah.
They laughed at him the last time he was in front of the UN.
Yeah, this time
you remember just about, I don't know, several weeks ago, that meeting with Xi and Kim Jong-un and Putin?
Yeah.
You think they're not laughing?
Oh, they are.
Oh, they are. They're laughing at us, all right. Joy Behar knows what's going on.
As they create a new axis of partnership, what's happening, you bring people into the Oval Office. I have spent a lot of time in the Oval Office.
Right, well, let that sink in, I guess. So, what do we have here? We have, well, it's too soon for Groundhog Day. Must be some kind of prairie dog. Prairie bitch poking its head out of the ground after a prolonged hibernation. No, I'm kidding, of course. It's boozy old Kamala Harris after, spending months in an ethanol-induced stupor, I guess, or something. She's back, and we need to heed her warning, or she's trying to tell us about well, I'll let her explain.
I have spent a lot of time in the Oval Office. I have spent time in the Oval Office with the president, receiving our allies and our friends from around the world. And consistently, we have seen Donald Trump bring people into the Oval Office, be they a United States governor or the head of a state of a friendly nation, and embarrass them and ridicule and demean them. That is not what a president does. This individual who occupies our White House right now,
The People's House,
has decided that he will be an emperor in his mind who will demonstrate his power by demeaning and belittling and making people feel small. But this is...
Okay, wrap it up, Rummy. We've got a whole show to get through today. A lot more clips. We're going to try and decipher just what it is cryptic Kamala Harris is trying to tell us on her return to the political stage. Oh, she's rallying again. I feel Kamala Waltz 2028 coming on.
It's the end of civilization as we know it. You know, it's all over. So F-16s, please.
Who's Daniel Boland? Oh, Daniel Boland, this is a heavy hitter. Do you guys know who this is?
So, former presidential candidate Kamala Harris has made her long-awaited, triumphant return, some would say, from the very brink of obscurest oblivion. She is back, and her first ports of call are naturally The View, Rachel Maddow, all of the most relevant shows where, you know, all the good people get their best ideas. And she's here to lay out her vision for the world. Her priorities seem to be, other than flogging her book, 107 Days, which I'm sure is going to make for fascinating reading, her priorities seem to be reminding us how much she dislikes Trump and stuff.
A tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now in Donald Trump. And these titans of industry are not speaking up.
Yes, that's right. Donald Trump is a communist dictator, and Kamala is calling on the titans. Where are the titans of industry? Johnny Walker, Jack Daniels, Mr. Carlsberg.
You know, that day was a difficult day.
Oh yeah, I'll bet. Daylight often is the greatest foe of the dipsomaniac. Anyway, just going back to what she was saying about Donald Trump's UN speech and Joy Behar, nodding along. Yeah, they're laughing at us. I just want to focus on that for a second because everyone's talking about Donald Trump's UN speech. Let's see what he said that was so crazy.
Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often It's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that? On the way to infiltrate our southern border. Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration. And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and not finance them. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety net.
Yeah, what a raving lunatic.
It was quite incredible. So nearly an hour, he began by eviscerating the United Nations. He said, what is the purpose of the United Nations? He said that they write strongly worded letters, but they're empty words because they don't result in anything. He then went on to criticize the countries who have recognised Palestine as a state, including Britain, of course. He said that it was a reward for the Hamas atrocities, including October the 7th. Then he went on to mass migration. He had a very simple message. Your countries are going to hell. Europe is in serious trouble. He said that the globalist migration agenda had failed, and he talked about prisoner statistics in Europe. He said that foreign nationals made up 74% of the prison population in Switzerland, 54% in Greece. I fact-checked those stats. They are actually correct. The average across the EU, though, is about 20%. And then he went on to net zero. He talked about climate change, said it was a scam. He said that renewables were a joke, that they don't work. He said he hoped that the Prime Minister was listening. Talked about the North Sea. He said both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something isn't done immediately. This cannot be sustained.
Outrageous. I guess we need an alternative. Pronto. Kamala, what have you got?
This is the process. If anyone wants to challenge me, they are welcome to jump in, but I intend to earn the support of the majority of the delegates, and I'm doing it right now. Each call took no more than 2 or 3 minutes. Outside in the fierce afternoon heat, a media scrum swarmed. A few hours into this day of frenzied nonstop calls, I realized I needed centering. I stopped everything to call my pastor. I stopped everything to call my pastor. Reverend Dr. Amos C. Brown is a Baptist preacher who marched with Dr. King.
Oh, for fuck's sake. With all of the billions, with all of the time she spent away on her boozy sabbatical, she's learnt literally nothing at all. She's still the same whiny, monotonous buffoon.
I stopped everything to call my pastor. Reverend Dr. Amos C. Brown is a Baptist preacher who marched with Dr. King. Of course, he had already heard the news. I put him on speaker so the whole table could listen to his wise and sonorous voice. and we prayed.
What are you talking about? It's so painful. It's so painful to listen to this idiocy.
The absolute cliche. My pastor, Father Anacee Brown, who marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. Nobody gives a shit, lady. I'm sorry, he's been dead for 60 years. Somebody's got to say it. Get some new people, all right? Imagine if every time Nigel Farage spoke, he evoked Bernard Manning. It's not exactly the same, not my finest analogy, Martin Luther King and Bernard Manning, but you get the point, all right? It's like every idiot in the world who's done a speech about equality and Nelson Mandela or whatever. Shut up! Learn about some new people. Anyway.
He talked about Queen Esther, who saved her people when they were threatened. You were born for a time such as this, he said. And I teared up. He asked God to protect me, my family, my team, and to give us an understanding of our purpose in this moment. It grounded us all. Then we were back on it. Outside, the sky darkened. Storm Horncastle, my indispensable social secretary, got us sandwiches, ordered pizza.
Please, please.
If I had to describe my book, 107 Days, in just a few words, I'd say candid, funny, reflective, and personal. So how I prefer to write is mostly with my favorite blue pen, on paper, real old school, but also on the computer. It's kind of, hearing the click clack and moving through the words that way is also great. So I do both.
If his reaction to that, since this part of the book has come out, if you've had any reflection on that, or I guess I'd ask you to just elaborate on that a little bit. It's hard to hear.
Yeah.
With you running as, you're the first woman elected vice president. You're a black woman and a South Asian woman elected to that high office, very nearly elected president. To say that he couldn't be on the ticket effectively because he was gay is hard to hear.
No. That's not what I said. That he couldn't be on the ticket because he is gay. My point, as I write in the book, is that I was clear that in 107 days, in one of the most hotly contested elections for President of the United States, against someone like Donald Trump who knows no floor, to be a black woman running for President of the United States and as a vice presidential running mate, a gay man, with the stakes being so high, it made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk.
You see, it wasn't because Pete Buttigieg was gay that she didn't take him on her ticket as her vice president. It was because the stakes were too high for a gay. Because Donald Trump.
No matter how, I've been an advocate and an ally of the LGBT community my entire life. So it wasn't about any prejudice on my part.
Oh, no. Kamala, we wouldn't even entertain the thought. We know what an ally and, as you say, advocate that you've been your entire career for all kinds of debauchery. And who would you be anyway to tell people what they can and can't get up to in the bedroom? After all the things you did for Willie Brown in your misspent youth. Look, I think after all it was probably a smart decision not to take Pete Buttigieg as your vice, After all, a woman and a gay man. I mean, if you're already running over budget, imagine the lighting, the makeup. It could get pretty catty between you two backstage at your events. Yeah, it's my turn in the bathroom.
But
that
we had such a short period of time, and the stakes were so high. I think Pete is a phenomenal public servant. And I think America
is and would be ready for that. But when I had to make that decision with 2 weeks to go, you know, and maybe I was being too cautious. You know, I'll let our friends, we should all talk about that. Maybe I was. But that's the decision I made. And I, as with everything else in the book, I'm being very candid about that.
Yeah.
With a great deal of sadness about also the fact that it might have been a risk.
So what she's saying is, I'm sure someday, far down the line, America will be ready for gays. But not on my watch. He wasn't going to screw up my campaign with his mincing around. Get that gay away from me, please.
You know, we were all on that campaign together, those 107 days, and it was historic. Think about it. We have never, as a country, seen a campaign where the seated president of the United States, 3.5 months before the election, decides not to run. The sitting vice president then enters the race against a former president of the United States who had been running for 10 years with 107 days to do it.
It's actually frightening to me, listening to people like Kamala Harris. There's no self-awareness at all. And her audiobook, I can guarantee you, the audio will be her droning along like this, describing literally the events that everyone knows happened. There was 107 days, blah, blah, blah. Joe Biden dropped out. It was a decision they'll make. There'll be no salacious, titillating details added to it, because she doesn't even know how to titillate. You know, she'll add things like, we ordered pizza, we got sandwiches, like bullshit stuff. I phoned my pastor. Fucking, like, she doesn't get it. I almost feel sorry for her. There's nothing. There's no personality. It's bizarre. It's scary.
Resulting in, by the way, and again, thank you to all the sisters here and on the other room where they are and everywhere celebrating their birthdays, not here. Because we ended up, in spite of what this person in the White House would say, in one of the closest presidential elections in modern history. In fact, the closest in the 21st century.
So even the factual details are going to be wrong. What is this book? It wasn't close. She was trounced in the Electoral College. She even lost the popular vote by a couple of million votes, which is, I think she's the first Democrat since John Kerry, 21 years ago. Yeah, in 2004 that would have been, right? He was the last Democrat to not win the popular vote. And she lost by what, like 80 electoral college votes? Like, she got absolutely battered. It wasn't close at all. She's fucking. We were this close. Nothing happened. The book's about nothing. It's about an incompetent boob who shagged her way into importance. Sorry to say that, but she's got no personality. She never won any elections. She never should have been anywhere near the top of the Democrat Party. And it's sad to me that Democrats, that a party that's supposed to be an institution, it's supposed to be, they're supposed to be a serious institution that intend to govern, right? And they've got people like this, incompetent boobs, floating to the top of their party. It's not only the Democrats, but it's particularly worrisome when you see people like this. I mean, like you've got in the Democrats, you've got AOC, you've got Jasmine Crockett. At least there's a personality there. They're idiots. I disagree with everything they say. I find them irritating. Gavin Newsom, at least he's charismatic in some way. How did this woman get anywhere near the White House? And in fact, she didn't. That's the incredible thing. She had everything, billions being pumped into her. You know, she's a meat puppet for these billionaires who wanted to get her into power, and they just couldn't. There was nothing there. It was like kicking a dead horse. Well, it's a bizarre. It was just another situation where the whole world was pretending something was happening that wasn't. They're pretending to be enthusiastic about it. They're pretending she had great ideas and she was a great policy and she'd had this incredible career. She's a nobody who somehow... I've said this about other people. She's Chauncey Gardner. Being there. She was there. We don't know how. She's just there.
And the idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, you know, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology.
Okay, I think that's, what is it that the kids say now? Oh, probably boomers thinking they're sounding like kids, right? That's enough internet for me today. We're not going down that ferret hole. Prairie dog hole. Prairie bitch hole, or whatever. Callback. Very funny callback there. It's late. I'm tired. But have you had a great time? A lovely time? If you have, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let me know what you think about all this crap in the comments. And follow me on X and on Instagram. All the details under this video. My Patreon's there as well if you want to get some access to some exclusive videos or just buy one little video. If you want to help out with the channel even further, that's an option. That's a thing, you know. And that's enough e-begging from me tonight. I'll see you in the next one. Good night.
The medium rare on one side. We have 4 medium rare. 4 medium rare.
Wait, what do you say? Medium rare or medium well?
Medium rare.